Hello, everyone. A very logical day to all of you and a very logical week ahead to all of you. So, yes, this is the starting of a new week. So, we need to make a resolution. And what resolution will be better than promising ourselves that we are going to listen to each and every editorial discussed every day, that is, right? But a small addition we can make to it is that if you have skipped a few editorials discussed earlier. So make it a point that apart from the one that you get in the day, you are reading one more that you have left earlier, right? So if you think on this thing, you will be able to do it. सिर्फ सोचने की बात है अगर हम एक और चाहें तो 15 minutes you can easily come up with, right? So let's see what we have today. A new classroom. But yeah, I think so. You have been reading on this episode of education policy, the new education policy, what all has been given is occurring in the newspapers for the last 5 to 6 days. So now let's see what this person says. An expert panel appointed by the center has suggested a long overdue restructuring of the school education system. Last week, the committee released a pre-draft of the National Curriculum Framework, that is NCF, for public feedback on recommendations, which include giving senior secondary students the freedom to pursue a mix of arts, commerce, and science subjects. This flexibility is in accordance with the multidisciplinary approach underlined in NEP 2020. So, the national education policy that was established in 2020. So, on that basis, they had to overhaul or rehaul the complete structure of the school education system. And what they have drafted, they have put it up for the public recommendation or public feedback. So the NCS proposal to assess the students' capabilities in classes 10 to 12 through examinations over 4 years and not one board exam every year also fits in with the NEP's vision of holistic education. Holistic education means developing on all fronts, all the aspects taken together. So a student can actually go for arts plus commerce plus science subjects. The changes will have an enhanced role for well-designed textbooks. Implicit in the NCF approach is also a greater role for the teacher. Now, if they want to come up with that holistic education, change all these things, so there would be an enhanced, means improved, increased role of what? Increased role for the well-designed textbooks. तो उन्हें जो पॉलिसी था 2020 में उसके हिसाब से उन्हें टेक्स्ट बुक्स डिजाइन करनी पड़ेगी. So textbooks have a great say in the matter. Secondly, what is a significant part of this whole change that is going to be brought about will be in the role of the teacher. Now, it is increasingly becoming evident that the rigid boundaries between arts, science, and commerce do not provide the child the foundational knowledge to deal with the more pressing challenges of today. Pressing challenges का मतलब होता है very important challenges which needs such a challenge which needs immediate attention. और rigid का मतलब होता है stubborn. ठीक है, तो आर्ट्स कॉमर्स साइंस ऐसे डिफरेंट. भाई आपने क्या लिया? मैं आर्ट्स सब्जेक्ट ह्यूमैनिटीज. व्हाट डिड यू ऑप्ट फॉर? आई ऑप्टेड फॉर साइंस, दैट इज मैथ्स. सो फिर मैथ्स और बायो. एंड देन व्हाट डिड यू ऑप्ट फॉर? आई ऑप्टेड फॉर कॉमर्स. नाउ कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट, डू यू थिंक ही हैज नथिंग टू डू विथ मैथ्स एंड बायो, राइट? और एन आर्ट्स स्टूडेंट has nothing to do with commerce. This is the segregation that was earlier, but now there were the rigid boundaries. Rigid is very strict, unrelenting, you can say. Now, the foundational knowledge, the person who wishes to do, say, um, anything further in the career should have the basic knowledge at least of the rest of the fields also. But that basic knowledge is missing, the foundational knowledge, right? So today's challenges will be what? That you should have the basic knowledge of all the things. वो missing था earlier system में. 2020 के NEP में they started focusing on this, and according to that, the structure has been created. So combating climate change and other environmental crises, for instance, require an understanding of politics, economics, sociology, as well as disciplines that deal with the natural phenomena. So, this was an example that the author stated to emphasize the point that he made, that there were stubborn or rigid boundaries between all these subjects. And what was given in the first paragraph, will continue with that, that this restructuring of the education system is bringing about the changes in the design of the textbooks and also on the role of the teacher. Why? Because they are including all these subjects. So there's a flexibility in the subject. जो हमने circle किया, जो underline किया है, वो important point हुआ author का, continued in the second paragraph. And this becomes the example. Now, business studies are not purely what happens in the realm of commerce. Understanding of human behavior plays an important role in shaping the economic models. तो आप अगर सोचते हो कि सिर्फ बिजनेस स्टडीज करोगे तो आपको सिर्फ ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स आना चाहिए. But what about the people who are working with you? What about the people who you want to hire or you need to recruit? How are they going to work? You need the leadership qualities, you need those skills, right? The soft skills you need to make other people work for you. तो बिजनेस स्टडीज हम सिर्फ बिजनेस करेंगे ऐसा नहीं होगा ना. बिजनेस स्टडीज में ये सारी चीजें चाहिए जो कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ ह्यूमन बिहेवियर भी है. सो अगेन दिस इज अनदर एग्जांपल व्हिच गिव्स यू that the difference or the boundary between arts, science, and commerce should not be rigid, because you can't just stay in one block. The significance of humanities in the fourth industrial revolution has been underlined by several research papers. That is why NEP envisions a complete overhaul and re-energizing of the higher education system. Why? Because of these humanities, the soft skills that are needed. The envisions, मतलब vision का मतलब होता है आगे का सोचना. The envision is to visualize. A complete overhaul. Overall will be the restructuring that we did in the first paragraph. And re-energizing of the higher education system, मतलब rejuvenating है तो वापस से एक नया एक young energy, एक young education system बन जाएगा full of energy. Now, including moving towards a multidisciplinary undergraduate education, the new NCF approach could provide the groundwork for such a change at the school level. It recognizes that the current system encourages rote learning and does very little to develop the critical skills. ठीक है, अब तक कोई कैसे पास होता है हमें पता ही नहीं है. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या होता है हमें याद नहीं है. हिस्ट्री में क्या हुआ था हमें पता नहीं है. ज्योग्राफी में वॉल्केनिक इरप्शन क्यों होता है, टेक्टोनिक प्लेट्स क्या होती हैं, कैसे हिलती हैं, हाउ आर माउंटेन्स फॉर्म्ड एंड क्रिएटेड. We don't know this. Why? Because we only learn what is given to us in the classroom and cram it. उसे रट्टा लगा देते हैं. तो अभी जब तुम आगे बढ़ोगे, आगे स्कूल क्लियर करके, after say 4-5 years, will you be able to remember all this? No. Why? Because you had just crammed it. Rote learning कहते हैं उसे, रट्टा लगाना होता है. ठीक है, तो अभी जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है वो रट्टा लगाने वाली है. ठीक है, रट्टा लगा लो, आ गया आंसर तो मार्क कर लो एंड यू विल गेट द वर्ड्स, पॉइंट्स, मार्क्स. बट देन developing critical skills was not done there. It rightly points out that a large number of students have developed a fear of mathematics and current methods of assessment. They have created a perception that mathematics is about mechanical computation. What is mathematics? A mechanical computation. It therefore recommends a shift to play, activity, discovery and discussion based learning at the primary school level. So primary school level पे ही activity based learning होगी, मतलब जहाँ पे वो creativity दिखाते हैं, जहाँ पे creativity use कर सकते हैं. तो ये primary level से हो जाएगा शुरू. Now, in the coming weeks and months, the panel will hold several rounds of discussion on the pre-draft. An urgent task should be to ensure, this is the urgent task, that means it is coming from the author's point of view. It is his point of view. Urgent task should be to ensure that the reforms are applied in an inequitable manner. According to the Education Ministry's data, more than 1 lakh government schools in the country have just one teacher. So saddled with a number of responsibilities, the instructor may not be able to make learning a creative exercise. उसके पास टाइम नहीं होगा, पॉसिबल है, एज अ NEP and NCF डिमांड. तो एनईपी इज अलाइव टू दीज कंसर्न्स, उसे पता है कि ये सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं एजुकेशन सिस्टम में. द डॉक्यूमेंट सेक्शन ऑन एम्पावरिंग द टीचर शुड नॉट एस्केप द प्लानर्स अटेंशन while they lay the framework for reforms in school education. रिफॉर्म्स करना है लेकिन टीचर्स को भी वेल इक्विप्ड बनाना है, एम्पावर करना है. दैट इज व्हाट द ऑथर स्टेट्स इन द लास्ट पैराग्राफ. So now if we just sum up with the points there, what do we get? That there is a restructuring, right? Restructuring of the education system, and that has been given only for the feedback. अभी उन्होंने सिर्फ ड्राफ्ट किया है, फीडबैक के लिए दिया है, पब्लिक फीडबैक के लिए. ठीक है, तो अब ऑथर क्या कर रहा है, उसको समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि आखिर ये जो दिया है वो किसके हिसाब से है. ये पूरा रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग एनईपी के हिसाब से है जो 2020 में आया था. Right, according to that policy, the renewed one, what was more important was the structure where they combined arts plus science plus commerce. तीनों को कंबाइन किया. इससे वो एनईपी की जो पॉलिसी थी कि हमें एक मल्टी डायमेंशनल नॉलेज होना चाहिए स्टूडेंट को, ये फिट हो जाता है. सेकंड, उन्होंने कहा था कि टीचर्स की जो रोल है वो empowered hogi. That means teachers have to play a significant role, or teachers will play a significant role in the following of this structure, right? According to the author, what does he say in the last paragraph? That this document which says that empowering the teacher is important. Now during the planning, during the final planning, this should actually not affect the or not escape द प्लानर्स अटेंशन. मतलब ये बात जो बिल्कुल सही बोली है कि टीचर्स को एम्पावर करना बहुत जरूरी है. तो जब उसे इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे उस प्लान को, तो पूरा फोकस टीचर पर भी होना चाहिए. दैट द टीचर्स हैव टू बिकम मल्टी टैलेंटेड इन दैट वे. हाउ टू ग्रास्प, व्हाई? बिकॉज व्हाट दे नीडेड वाज क्रिएटिविटी अकॉर्डिंग टू द ऑथर. क्रिएटिव स्किल्स डेवलप होने चाहिए स्टूडेंट्स को, कुछ और सोचने आना चाहिए, सिर्फ रोट लर्निंग नहीं होनी चाहिए. सो वी हैव अ शॉर्ट पॉइंट ऑफ रोट लर्निंग शुड बी अवॉइडेड. क्रिएटिविटी शुड बी सीन. पब्लिक फीडबैक आप दे सकते हो रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग का, और उसमें क्या था, आर्ट्स साइंस एंड कॉमर्स को ऐड कर लिया था और टीचर्स के रोल को सिग्निफिकेंट करा था. दिस इज व्हाट वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड इन द कंप्लीट पैसेज. So if we have this much understanding, we can come to the main idea. Expert panel's proposal to remove borders between arts, science and commerce. तो उन्होंने arts, science and commerce को एक combined version दे दिया. Next step क्या था? To empower the teacher. हमने यही दोनों points निकाली थी मेजर. टीचर को ज्यादा पावर आना चाहिए. These were the points that we had extracted from the paragraph. Right? If that much is understood, that's very good. We'll come to the vocabulary part now. Here, holistic, what we did right now, A plus S plus C, that means all encompassing, all inclusive. एक holistic approach होगा, मतलब सारे aspects को एक साथ लिया जाएगा. Taking all aspects together. And this is something that I have given in a few days back also. Why? Because we had a holistic approach to the Punjab problem, and there was another that was a piecemeal approach. A piecemeal approach का मतलब होता है टुकड़े टुकड़े में रेगुलेट करना या पीसेस में उसे टैकल करना किसी भी प्रॉब्लम को. राइट? एनहांस्ड मीन्स enriched, heightened, improved, enhance your vocabulary, enhance your reading skills. उस हिसाब से आएगा. आगे लिख के चलो. इम्प्लिसिट का मतलब होता है हिंटेड एट. ये सिंपल वर्जन है. इम्प्लाइड से इम्प्लिसिट वर्ड समझ में आ जाता है. हिंटेड एट मतलब उस सेंटेंस में ये ऑलरेडी इनहेरेंट है. राइट? सो दैट वे वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड, बिकॉज दिस इज अ वर्ड ऑफ द क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग. How will you understand as a question when you take the mocks and all? So implicit will be like an assumption, which is the implied or implicit assumption taken by the author. इसका मतलब ऑथर ने क्या मान लिया है? टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड होता है assumption. सो टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड, ऑथर ने सही उसे मान लिया है. Is not mentioned, but it is there hidden in the lines. So implicit is only hinted at, not given explicitly. Rigid, rigid firm, बिल्कुल कट्टर जैसे रिजिड बिलीव्स होते हैं. ठीक है, रिजिड व्यू हो सकता है कि ठीक है, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज माय व्यू, आई एम वेरी रिजिड इन माय वर्डिक्ट और इन माय पॉइंट, इन माय ओपिनियन. आप चेंज करने वाले ही नहीं हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू हैव टू गो टू द फॉर अ पिकनिक से, बट योर फादर सेज नो, बिल्कुल नहीं, अभी तो कोचिंग ज्वाइन की है, पढ़ो. मंडे से लेके फ्राइडे तक आपने मनाया पापा को, पापा ने मना कर दिया. ही वॉज वेरी रिजिड, ही वॉज इनफ्लेक्सिबल, ही वॉज वेरी फर्म ऑन हिज ओपिनियन. ही डिड नॉट चेंज, डिड नॉट अलाउ यू अनचेंजिंग. वी वोंट कॉल हिम स्टबर्न, बट स्टबर्न तो हम बनेंगे जो जिद पे अड़े रहे. पापा नो, आई हैव टू गो ऑन द पिकनिक, ऐसा. राइट, सो आप रिजिड को अनरिलेंटिंग, एक और वर्ड हो सकता है अनरिलेंटिंग, नॉट टू गिव इन, इनफ्लेक्सिबल. प्रेसिंग नीड होता है, प्रेसिंग नीड ऑफ द आवर, बहुत जरूरी है, अर्जेंट है किसी काम का करना. उसने कहा था अर्जेंट, इट इज रिक्वायर्ड. So it is a pressing need means persisting, it is demanding, you need to cater to that problem right now. Combating, combat is a fight. So when you're combating, that means you're opposing or you're contesting, right? You are withstanding something. तो वो combat, how to combat the problem. तो आप क्या कर सकते हो उसको, प्रॉब्लम को रिजॉल्व करने के लिए. Envisions में विज वर्ड आ जाता है. That means you are visualizing or you are imagining thing what is going to happen in the future is to envision something. Overall is restructuring. ठीक है, पूरी तरीके से किसी को चेंज कर देना उसे ओवरऑल कहते हैं. पता चला कभी क्लैट या कोई भी एंट्रेंस एग्जाम अपने पैटर्न को पूरी तरीके से चेंज करता है, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एन ओवरऑलिंग. सो रिपेयर, रेनोवेट, रिफर्बिश. सैडल्ड विथ, सैडल क्या होता है? घोड़े के ऊपर जो रखा जाता है, जिस पर लोग बैठते हैं, जो हॉर्स राइडर बैठता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड द सैडल. सो दैट बिकम्स अ बर्डन फॉर द हॉर्स. In that way, you can understand saddled is burdened or loaded with. Right? So that's all for today. You can note that down and remember what you have resolved for this week. Thank you and all the best for the week. Have a logical week ahead.